Hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about sulfur, one of the very important mineral in our body, mainly derived from sulfated amino acids, mainly derived from protein. Some of the sulfated amino acids are methionine, cysteine, homocysteine, taurine. Methionine is an essential amino acid, means you need to have it in your diet on a day-to-day basis. Cysteine, homocysteine, those are non-essential amino acids which are formed in the body. Okay. Some amount of sulfur, organic sulfur, is found directly into the food, from the food, and this are onion, garlic, cruciferous vegetables, any food, specifically some of these vegetables which have some smell, and that have organic sulfur in it. Sulfur is also called gandhak in Hindi. Gandhak means it smells, so sulfur gives that smell. I don't know if any of you have gone to Vajreshwari or any of your hot geysers, in your country or in your state. This particular hot geysers have sulfur in it. It's sulfated water. Okay, so when you're going there to take a bath, you will see that smell coming out of that water, and that's sulfur. And if you ask, if you find out that who are the people who are coming to this hot geysers, primarily are the people who have some joint problems or they have some skin problem. So that means basically there is probably kind of that knowledge coming from generations that when you take bath in that hot geysers, there's a sulfated water, so probably sulfur or that mineral helps with the joint pains and skin. And if you look at it, if obviously I'm going to go in detail, but you'll understand that it does help because it produces a lot of those organosulfur compounds, and that has effect on your joint and skin and hair and pretty much everything. Okay, so we'll go in detail. Sulfur is also present in 2 vitamin B. Okay, so which are those 2 vitamin B? Thiamine and biotin. Now biotin, if you remember, a lot of people take the supplements biotin for hair, right? People who have hair loss, they take biotin. Okay, now what are the functions of sulfur? So let's talk about each and every important function that sulfur has. So cellular energy production and metabolism. So sulfur is important for Krebs cycle, because the acetyl CoA and CoA, those compounds are made from sulfur. So that's your kind of some of the products or byproducts, I could say, of that Krebs cycle. So it is definitely, as I said, it is important for formation of energy. It gives you energy. It also maintains blood glucose level. So sulfur is important for maintaining blood glucose level. Why? Because insulin is your hormone which requires sulfur. Okay. Sulfur also protects nerve and nerve tissue. It synthesizes neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are important, of course, as you know. Some of them are acetylcholine, serine, your serotonin. So some of those sulfurs are very important. It improves memory. It dampens excessive firing. It has antioxidant protection. So glutathione, which scavenges or neutralizes free radicals and recycle oxidized antioxidants. So glutathione, I'm sure a lot of doctors and nutritionists who are taking this course would know what glutathione is. It's basically one of the most powerful antioxidant which is present in our body, which scavenges free radical. So free radicals are basically radicals which causes damage. Okay, it causes inflammation in the body. So it prevents the excessive damage to through free radicals by scavenging it. Okay. Then sulfur is also important for blood flow. Why it is important for blood flow? Because fibrinogen and heparin, those are two important organosulfur compounds. So it produces both blood clotting factor as well as anticoagulant. Okay, anticoagulants mean it prevents the coagulation of blood. It prevents the clotting. Okay, and blood clotting factors are basically factors which helps with the clotting. So if you have a nick on your skin and if you're bleeding, basically that fibrinogen will immediately clot that bleeding. It will stop that bleeding. Okay, so sulfur is required for that also. Cartilage and bone. So remember I told you that a lot of these people, they go to hot geysers. So why? Because the sulfur is important for formation of glycosaminoglycans and also chondroitin sulfate and hyaluronic acid, and they are part of cartilage and bones. Okay, so to have your healthy bones and your cartilage, your joints, it's important that we take enough amount of sulfur or sulfated amino acid, which is your methionine. Okay, detoxification, of course, by means of conjugation, chelation. Sulfur is important for detoxification, means to get rid of toxins in the body, and that's primarily because of glutathione. Okay, regulation of DNA replication and transcription. So basically, to maintain your DNA, that would prevent cancer actually. So you want to make sure that to maintain your DNA health, you require sulfur. Other effect of sulfur, it helps in digestion because it helps in production of hydrochloric acid. Now, hydrochloric acid is the acid which is present in your stomach, okay, for digestion of food. It supports healthy lipoprotein balance. So you remember, I'm sure everybody knows about cholesterol, LDL, HDL. There's a good cholesterol, LDL, HDL is a good cholesterol, and so for formation of this cholesterol and to have this balance of good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, you require sulfur. Adrenal gland support and hormone production. So there are some of these hormones which require sulfur. Your cortisol, aldosterone, testosterone, those are important. You require sulfur for that. Then also imagine for proper immune response. So enhancing, your infection fighting cells, so your lymphocytes, your cytotoxic T cells, natural killer cells, these are all the very important cells which kind of prevents infection. It enhance your immune system. Okay, and for that you also require sulfur. Now, one more thing which I will go a little bit more in detail is N-acetylcysteine. Now, N-acetylcysteine has a lot of function in the body. Now, one of the most important function is it protects against mucus formation in the lungs. Okay, so a lot of time when you have bronchitis and when you have a lot of this cough, you go to doctors and doctors will write a NAC prescription. N-acetylcysteine is also called NAC. Now, this for NAC actually, all the doctors would know that when the patient comes with crocin, toxicity, we give NAC. And what NAC does, it basically increases the glutathione level, which detoxifies or which removes crocin from the body. It helps in removal of acetaminophen from the body. Okay, so NAC is very, very, very important, and you require sulfur for formation of NAC. Okay, then for eyes, your sulfur is important because it decreases the cataract formation. And keratin, one of the most highly spoke about organosulfur compounds, especially among women, because obviously we always say, I buy keratinized shampoo and this and that. We spend so much money on the shampoos, which has keratin. But think about if we have food which is high in sulfur, which will help form this keratin. Okay, so for formation of skin, hair, nails, keratin is present. Keratin is present in skin. Keratinized epithelial cells, we know it. Keratin is present in your cornea. It's present in your hair. So sulfur is important for formation of keratin. Okay. Here we have just kind of listed all the important organosulfur compounds which we just discussed, so I'm not going to go too much in detail in that. Some of the sulfur-rich food. So these are sulfur-rich food which are primarily you get organic sulfur from this food. So here your onion, your cauliflower, of course your beet, your drumstick leaves and drumstick seeds. Your drumstick seeds are very high in sulfur. In fact, in US we have this those drumstick seeds powder available in the capsule, and a lot of people with joint problems, they take it. So I do recommend that we should have this drumsticks in our diet on a day-to-day basis. So either you can put drumstick leaves, we also call moringa leaves. You can make a powder, put moringa leaves in the food, or you can just have a drumstick vegetable, or you put it in a curry, you put it in a dal that you make, so that's how you get your sulfur. Okay, some of the other food which you can get sulfur from is your garlic, okay, your eggs, of course your fish. Okay, so this is some of the good sources of organic sulfur. Directly sulfur comes from this food. Okay, cysteine, remember I told you about cysteine is formed in the body, but you can get cysteine from food also. So some of the cysteine rich food is primarily your garlic, again pretty much garlic, your eggs, your choli, some of the fish, seeds are high in cysteine, so your black till, your sesame seed, black sesame seed, your white sesame seed, peanuts, okay, soya, this is your soya over here, okay, and your coconut, and some of the other foods. So cysteine can be available from food also, besides being formed in the body. Methionine is another essential amino acid, extremely important to have it in your diet. Okay, as I told you that this sulfated amino acid will release sulfur. That sulfur will be used in formation of all these organosulfur compound that I spoke about. Okay, so which are the food which are high in methionine? Again, remember I talked about peanuts. So you make peanut powder, put it in your food. For children food also you can put peanut powder. For adults they can just put peanut in the dal or vegetables, make peanut curry. Sesame seeds, also your liver, your dairy products are very high in methionine, so make sure that your children have, after 2 years of age, if mother wants to start the top milk, they can start dairy, or even young children 6 months to 2 years of age, you can give them dahi, paneer. This is paneer over here on right side corner, lower corner, and over here this is khoa is basically kind of made from milk, mawa, we in Gujarati call it mawa, khoa. So do use khoa in your curries, very high in sulfur, actually very high in methionine, which gives out sulfur. Okay, and of course your non-veg food are high in sulfur. Children who have a good amount of non-veg food, we do see that they do have a good height. And what I've seen actually is there is an article by Dr. Michael Golden, and he's written extensively about sulfur, and he feels that basically for your linear growth, sulfated amino acids are very, very important. Okay, and that's why I'm kind of stressing on this foods which you must give it to children, which will help with the linear growth.
Welcome to the spoken tutorial on the importance of sulfur. In this tutorial, we will learn about benefits of sulfur, symptoms of its deficiency, sulfur-rich food sources. Sulfur is the third most abundant mineral found in our body. Most of it is derived from sulfated amino acids. Amino acids make up the proteins. There are 22 amino acids. Out of 22, a few of them have sulfur. The most important sulfated amino acids are methionine and cysteine. Methionine cannot be synthesized in the body. Hence, it has to be taken from the diet. On the other hand, cysteine is synthesized in our body. However, it requires a steady supply of sulfur. Methionine and cysteine cannot be stored in the body. The excess amount is excreted through urine. Otherwise, it gets stored in the form of glutathione. Glutathione is an antioxidant produced in the liver. It protects the cells from damage and against various diseases. It also helps to remove toxins from the body. Many other compounds have sulfur too. Let us have a look at the importance of those compounds. I will first tell you about keratin. Keratin is found in the outer layer of the human skin. For healthy hair, nails and cell growth, we need keratin. Chondroitin sulfate is another compound that has sulfur. It delays the breakdown of cartilage in joints, improves joint mobility, might help in relieving pain caused by osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis is a condition where joint cartilage begins to break down. Another sulfur containing compound is alpha lipoic acid. Energy production and enzyme function requires alpha lipoic acid. It also helps in lowering blood sugar levels. Apart from proteins, some B vitamins also contain sulfur. One of them is vitamin B1, which is also known as thiamine. We require thiamine for normal development and growth. It is also required during reproduction and breastfeeding. Biotin is another B vitamin which has sulfur. Biotin is important for healthy hair growth. It plays a role in cell signaling and the regulation of genes. Let us now see the several roles of sulfur in our body. Sulfur helps in the process of digestion, protecting the lungs from mucus formation and infections, maintaining healthy eyes, reducing the chances of development of cataract in the eyes, developing the central nervous system and building a strong immunity. Insulin production also requires sulfur. Sulfur is also required during synthesis of collagen. Collagen is a protein found in bones, muscle, and skin. It strengthens the skin. Production of hormones like cortisol also requires sulfur. Aldosterone and testosterone are other examples. I will now tell you the various functions of these hormones. Cortisol helps to control blood sugar levels and reduces inflammation. It is also called a stress hormone. Aldosterone's main role is to regulate blood pressure. Testosterone is a male sex hormone. It helps in building bone mass and muscle density. Let us look at the symptoms of sulfur deficiency. Deficiency of sulfur causes wrinkling of skin, brittle hair and nails. Joint pain, convulsions and memory loss are also seen. Apart from this, toxins accumulate in the body. This can increase the risk of cancer. The risk of type 2 diabetes and heart diseases also increases. Gastric issues, rashes, and delayed wound healing have also been observed. We will now look at some food sources rich in sulfur. There is no recommended dietary allowance for sulfur. It is recommended to consume sulfur-rich food daily. Foods rich in methionine and cysteine are good sources of sulfur. Eggs, fish, and chicken are good sources of methionine. Nuts, milk, seeds, and grains also contain methionine. Chicken, cheese, eggs, and legumes are good sources of cysteine. Next, we will look at the vitamin-rich food sources that have sulfur. Whole grains, chicken, beans, and nuts are sources of thiamine, whereas goat liver, egg, fish, nuts, and seeds have biotin. Sulfur is also present in garlic, onion, cabbage, and cauliflower. Remember to include these foods in your daily diet for good health. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thanks for joining. Welcome to the spoken tutorial on sulfur-rich vegetarian recipes. In this tutorial, we will learn about benefits of sulfur in our body, a few vegetarian recipes. Sulfur is the third most abundant mineral found in our body. There are 22 amino acids, out of which a few have sulfur. It is derived from sulfated amino acids. The most important sulfated amino acids are methionine and cysteine. Sulfur helps in the process of digestion. It protects the lungs from mucus formation and infections. Developing the central nervous system also requires this mineral. It also helps in production of insulin. The importance of sulfur has been explained in another tutorial. Please visit our website for more details. Let us now see the preparation of the recipes. Before we begin, note that in this tutorial, one bowl is 150 milliliters. Our first recipe is sandwich dhokla. To make this recipe, you will need 3 tablespoons of little millet, 2 tablespoons of black gram with skin, 3 tablespoons of curd, 2 handful of washed gogu leaves, 2 washed and chopped green chilies, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. You will also need a handful of washed and chopped coriander leaves, 1 teaspoon ginger paste, 1 teaspoon garlic paste. For tempering, you will require half teaspoon mustard seeds, half teaspoon cumin seeds, 1 tablespoon sesame seeds, 1/4 teaspoon asafoetida powder, 5 to 6 washed curry leaves. You will also need 2 teaspoons of oil or ghee and salt as per taste. Procedure: wash and soak the little millet and black gram for 6 to 8 hours. Drain the water and grind them into a smooth batter. Transfer this into a bowl. Add curd and salt to the batter. Mix it well to make it smooth. Cover the bowl and leave it to ferment for 6 to 8 hours in a warm place. Once the batter is fermented, add chopped green chilies, ginger and garlic paste. Mix everything well again. Grease a steaming plate with oil and pour the batter on it. Tap the plate to spread the batter evenly. Next, add half glass of water in a steamer. Place the plate in the steamer. Please be careful while doing so. Close the steamer with a lid and steam this for 10 to 12 minutes. Allow the plate to cool. Later, cut the dhokla into diagonal pieces. Keep this aside for later use. I will now tell you how to make the chutney. In a grinder, add gogu leaves, coriander leaves, chili, garlic and salt. Grind it into a thick paste by adding a little water if required. Drumstick leaves can be used if gogu leaves are not available. To make the sandwich, take a piece of dhokla we made earlier. Spread the chutney evenly on it. Cover it with another piece. It should look like a sandwich. Repeat the same process for other pieces as well. To make the tempering, heat oil or ghee in a pan. Add mustard seeds, cumin seeds, sesame seeds, asafoetida and curry leaves. Once the seeds splutter, pour the tempering on the dhoklas. Sandwich dhokla is ready. 10 to 12 pieces of sandwich dhokla has around 93 milligrams of sulfur. Our next recipe is Proso millet upma. To make this recipe, you will need 2 tablespoons of Proso millet, a handful of washed fenugreek leaves, 1 medium chopped onion, 1 teaspoon ginger paste, 1 teaspoon garlic paste, 2 washed and chopped green chilies. You will also require 1 tablespoon of washed and chopped carrot, 4 to 5 cauliflower florets, 1 tablespoon green peas, a handful of washed and chopped coriander leaves. We will need 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, cumin powder, coriander powder. You will need 1 tablespoon of oil and salt to taste. Procedure: wash and soak proso millet for 6 to 8 hours. Drain the water and keep aside. Heat oil in a pan and add garlic, green chili, ginger and saute for a minute. Add chopped onions and vegetables. Saute until onions turn soft. Add all the spices and mix well. Add proso millet and 1 cup of water and allow it to cook on medium flame. Cover the pan with the lid and cook for 5 minutes. Proso millet upma is ready. Transfer this into a bowl and garnish with coriander leaves. You can serve the upma with curd. This recipe gives around 165 milligrams of sulfur. Our third recipe is mixed vegetable cutlets. To make this recipe, you will require 2 tablespoons of barnyard millet, 2 tablespoons of little millet, 2 tablespoons of kodo millet, 2 tablespoons of roasted Bengal gram flour. You will also need a handful of washed and chopped amaranth leaves, a handful of washed and sliced cabbage, 2 tablespoons of washed and chopped carrot, 2 tablespoons of chopped onion. You will need 1 tablespoon of ginger paste, garlic paste. You will also need 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, chili powder, coriander powder, garam masala powder, chopped green chilies. You will need 2 teaspoons of oil and salt as per taste. Procedure: soak barnyard, kodo and little millet for 6 to 8 hours. Drain them. Dry roast on a medium flame until they turn light brown in color. Allow them to cool. Transfer them into a mixer grinder and grind them into a fine powder. Keep this aside for later use. Heat oil in a pan. Add onions, ginger garlic paste and green chili. Saute until onion turns soft. Add cabbage and carrot to the pan and saute for a few minutes. Next add amaranth leaves and mix well. Add the spices and salt. Mix again and cook for 5 to 6 minutes. Allow this to cool. Add the cooked vegetables to the powder we made earlier. Now add roasted Bengal gram flour and mix everything well. Make a dough out of it by adding water little by little. Divide the dough into 4 parts and shape them as cutlets. Heat oil in a pan. Shallow fry the cutlets on each side until they turn golden brown in color. Mixed vegetable cutlets are ready. 4 cutlets have around 144 milligrams of sulfur. Our last recipe is pan-fried jackfruit seeds. To make this recipe, you will need 12 seeds of jackfruit, 1 medium-sized chopped onion, 1 medium chopped tomato. You will need 1 tablespoon of ginger paste, garlic paste, roasted sesame seeds, lemon juice. You will also need 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, chili powder, coriander and cumin powder. You will need 1 tablespoon of oil or ghee and salt as per taste. Procedure: pressure cook the jackfruit seeds for 4 to 5 whistles. Drain them and transfer them onto a plate. Allow to cool. Once cooled, peel them. Apply spices, salt, ginger garlic paste and lemon juice to the seeds. Keep it aside for 10 minutes. Heat oil in a pan. Add the onions and tomato and saute for 5 minutes. Next, add the jackfruit seeds to the pan. Fry this for 5 to 6 minutes. Once the seeds turn crisp, turn off the flame. Transfer this into a bowl and garnish with roasted sesame seeds. Pan-fried jackfruit seeds recipe is ready. This recipe gives around 472 milligrams of sulfur. Include these recipes in your daily diet for good health. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Thank you for joining.